You're listening to the Shit You Can't Make Up podcast, a conversation with friends, hosted by Marisol Sanchez.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening. This is Marisol, and this week we are lucky enough to have Miss Beth with us.
Thanks for having me back. It's fun.
Instantly jumps the numbers.
Well, I think that was a fluke the first time, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's funny. And so it's Sunday. It's December 13th. And we thought we would talk about Christmas and the holiday season.
12 days till Christmas, but who is counting?
And look, we took time out of our busy schedule to chat.
Sunday, yes.
I wrote the midway point. For me, this is like some background. I have 3 children, you have 3 children.
Yes.
I think we both have discussed how it's important. Not important. I think we both have this desire for our children to have, idyllic Christmas. Really just,
Right.
We go all out.
Yes. Yeah, I think, Christmas, I love Christmas. I have a love-hate relationship with Christmas, actually, I guess I should say, because I do love Christmas and everything about it, but it also is really a stressful time, and I know I put a lot of that on myself.
I feel like it's, the way I describe it is, it's December, it's not even December, it's whenever Thanksgiving, whatever day that falls on, suddenly I have an added part-time job till, January 1st.
Right.
It's just, more is required of me during this period of time. And I think that's as a mother. That's where I was getting at, that we're both kind of similar. So this podcast is for, just to clarify, if you are a man, you may want to find another podcast. May I suggest Stan Savage? Or do you have a podcast you'd like to recommend?
For men? I don't know. Let me look at my podcasts. Let's see. Here's Marisol's podcast. How about We Have Concerns? That's a good one.
Serial just started.
Serial just started back up. NPR. You said Dan Savage. The Champs.
I haven't listened to them in a long time.
Comedy Bang Bang.
Yeah, there's so much.
There's some other men ones. But especially if you're a single man.
Yeah, if you're a single man. This is not, Yeah,
this is going to be us complaining about it.
I think we always get to...
So, I had a friend who cracked me up because she was, just last week, her husband walked through and was like, "So, how's Christmas coming?" I'm like, I think that sort of sums up.
That's awesome.
I don't know. How is it coming? I'm like,
and some of the things that, this year, I feel like I see certain patterns repeating itself. I recognize the patterns, and sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. I'm aware of it. And so, getting the Christmas tree.
Right.
I want it. I always want it to be that Norman Rockwell. I always that reference. I don't know if that's inaccurate.
Yeah, no, Norman Rockwell. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But it never turns out.
No.
Especially since that's a post-divorce different. There's the Christmases before when I was married and Christmases as a single woman are different. I have to get that damn tree by myself.
Right. That would be hard.
Doing the lights by myself.
Getting in the stand. I'm not sure how I would do that by myself.
It was a 3-day process. There's a picture. There's a great picture of Heather. That first picture we took when the tree was done, and you see her face. It was perfect depiction of. I was like, these are the pictures that don't go up on Facebook.
Right. Well, we always get our tree the Sunday after Thanksgiving. It's a tradition, and we didn't this year because Preston was sick. My oldest child was sick, and so, of course, because it's got to be Norman Rockwell, we can't just go get it, even though they don't really want to go get it. I'm like, let's go. Yeah. And so every year beforehand, so we waited a whole week. We got it the following Sunday, which threw me completely off because I never bring out any other decorations until after the tree is up. So it just sort of, I don't know, I felt like I was in like Christmas limbo. And we went, and every year I have this picture of the kids. They always play hide and seek in the tree lot, which used to drive me crazy because they would just be running around when they were little, it was like annoying, but then it got to be cute, and now, like, they didn't do that. They're like, let's get this tree and let's get out of here.
Let me Instagram it.
I don't even think I got a picture. Like, I don't even have a family picture. It's like, I have to, like, recreate it. We're like, okay, we're done. The whole process from, like, leaving our house to getting back to our house, including the 20-minute drive to the thing, was like 40 minutes.
Yeah. My son was watching Breaking Bad.
That's nothing says Christmas like a meth lab.
It's like the little one the little one made Coco, like she's still,
Yeah.
Like, and like 2 ornaments in, she's like, "Can I go?" Like, yeah. Maybe excuse me.
So did you decorate the tree? You put the lights up, or what?
Actually, I helped with the stand. I got help get it in. But actually, it's the twins. I mean, Heather decorates. Heather puts the lights up. Heather decorates the house.
That's good.
I'm very, very, and she enjoys it.
Yeah.
And I'm not very good at it, so it works out.
You have a good relationship with that. My younger brother and I, we had an artificial tree for a lot of my young life and then switched to a live one at some point, but we would always do it all, just the 2 of us. And my kids they don't really participate in the process as much. And I don't know, I think that's just, I don't know if that's how I've set it up, like in the past, Yeah,
I think we both want it, we created, I feel, these patterns. Like we've talked about this before, like the elf on the shelf and the PSA. This is a PSA for any young mothers. If they're young enough not to, like, remember, do not get the shelf on the elf.
Do not start elf on the shelf. Just stop the madness. And here's another one that I wish I'd have done. I don't know. I don't care if you're religious or not. The 3 gifts. It's an awesome idea.
So
don't
my friend Jean does that, and she told us, and when she said it, when those words came out of her mouth, I'm like, brilliant.
Yes.
But my ship had sailed. Like,
it was too late by the time I even heard about that.
What we're talking about, we're kind of doing that thing where we know what we're thinking, but what we're basically talking about is we go crazy.
Yeah, a little overboard
with presents for our children. I think we take credit. We take credit that this is our doing.
Oh yeah, I'm totally responsible.
I'm done. My children have enough purchases for this Christmas that they should be completely grateful and thankful for. But it's too early. I shop too early because now this is my pattern. I'll go to a store because I have to go get something for a teacher, a housewarming, you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
And end up seeing something that they absolutely will love. And fuck it, it's Christmas. And this is my shit. Like,
right. Yeah, it's like, well, no, you can love it later. Because they have February birthdays. So, or like I do the exact same thing. And then I'll have kids that are like, okay, well, I made my list.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like December 12th. And it's like, okay.
I'm kind of worked myself through that one. I kind of tell the kids now. Even with
the deadline on the list.
I'm like, if you don't, it's like the world. If you don't get it on time, then you shot yourself in the foot.
So do you have Santa believers still in the house?
One claims to be a Santa believer.
Mm-hmm.
I think one is just
Thomas.
He never believed. I love that I have twins, and I love that they're boy-girl, because it's like a little science experiment, because they were raised by me at the same time. And so they were read the same stories. I tried to say, and like Elf on the Shelf, he just cynical little 3-year-old. Like, Santa, we read and he used to ask me questions like, all night, like over, he had flown on a plane, so he's like, but it takes us, 2 hours to get to Grandma and Grandpa's.
Yeah.
Like magic.
Yeah, he's like doing the physics. It's physically impossible.
So, but the little one claims to. My 9-year-old claims to, but I honestly feel like she knows. I know her siblings told her. But I think she's like almost sadly clinging on to her baby years.
She knows she doesn't believe, but she just sort of wants to believe.
Like,
she doesn't want to admit it yet.
She's in that 4th grade where, you know, but you still, like, 2nd grade she still talks about, like, how the younger years were the best. Like, we got to take naps. Everything was a party. Like, now it's
work. Yeah.
So it's watching her in that is kind of funny.
Well, Preston, who's 17, was like, are we still having Santa this year? And I had never thought about not having Santa, so I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
What does that mean for you?
That means to me that, like, when they wake up on Christmas morning, they will go down and Santa will have brought them gifts. Because the way...
So you don't lay your gifts out till the night before?
Yes. So, well...
Or all of them?
No, I mean, like, a few years ago, Santa, it used to be when they were really little, that Santa brought all the gifts, and then sometimes I would even forget to have a wrapped present from John and I under the tree. And then, so, a few years ago, maybe more than a few, I started, like putting more wrapped gifts for Mom and Dad and stuff like that under the tree and less from Santa. And so, but on Christmas morning... we put things out on Christmas Eve that are from Santa. And so I'm like, sure, but I think it's just going to be much smaller Santa. I mean, I remember I was talking about this to John when I went to college, and when I came home from college, my freshman year of college, so I was 18 for Christmas, and I woke up on Christmas morning, and there was no Santa. And I was like, what is going on here? Where is no Santa? I still remember that being like hugely disappointed that Santa, air quotes, had not come. And I'm like, Mom, why is there no Santa? And I think she said, like, I'm tired of Santa. Which I totally get now.
I get. I had the love-hate relationship with Santa because Santa got all the credit.
Right.
And I was like,
right.
I will say, again, you know, my point of reference for Christmas is being as a mom.
Right.
Is before and after divorce. And the ones before, when I was married, were so intense, and they were younger. But I used to travel. For every Christmas, we'd go to my in-laws in Chicago. And so all of Santa's gifts showed up there, and I had to wrap them the night before
and mail them, or like
I shipped them.
Okay,
there. They would, you know, I online ordered mostly, shipped them there. Then the night before, check. Some year, you know, I know there's 1 or 2 years where something didn't arrive. Like 1 year, I remember the American Girl doll, the present, the Santa gift. The Like You doll was like 2 shades darker. My daughter, I was like,
Yeah, that's some stress and like not seeing the gifts and like
wrapping them the night before. And then, you know, the whole being married dynamic was, you know, because it all just kind of, and you know, how much I spent. Everything was like, whoo.
Yeah.
A big, not, you know, but those Christmases were magical. They were, you know, those were my Norman Rockwell year Christmases for me. And my kids still have those. But those were more stressful than, now I kind of feel like the date is different for me because of the divorce.
Right.
So it's not the 25th. It could be whatever day, you know, I have them.
Right.
Which now I've gotten smarter about it. I'm like, okay, I'll just make it a little bit past Christmas. And so I have more time. I'm not, you know, I'm on a different.
Yes. Well, and also like, okay, now they're really, I guess, sort of having 2 Christmases.
And we both, I think both my ex and I still maintain the same level of Christmas that they've always had, but now individually. So they're like double down.
So you haven't like halved, like, okay, you get this and you get that.
We sort of talk. We do, you know.
So you don't duplicate, but like still everybody.
And make sure that everyone kind of gets what they want, you know, but who's going to be the, you know, I do think we do that well, but, you know, but going back to that point, we both, I think, go over, like, I even think my kids want me to cull, not the little one.
Right.
They're like, like my son's like, what do you want? Like, he can't name things if he wants.
Right.
And then my little one, she said in the car, this was just recently, because I kind of put my foot down on American Girl this year.
No more orphans in the American Girl orphanage?
Because she has, I think, 8, between what she's got and what she's inherited from her sister. And I had a doll. There was American Girl Marisol.
Yes, I remember.
And so she has this huge shit load of American Girl stuff. And I think that's enough. She could have an American Girl party every weekend for 2 months and not repeat the same American Girl. She doesn't. It's a
right. She's got
excessive.
enough to play with forever. The beauty of American Girl is that it's always a built-in gift.
Yeah.
Like there's always something new to like get, but like I totally get it. It's just too much.
But it's also she's and I take full responsibility. For this. But she's a marketing she's
a marketer stream.
Oh my god! Like she's not interested in American Girl for about 10 months out of the year, and then the catalog comes out somehow. Mm-hmm. She gets her hands on, the ads are posted on YouTube. I'm not sure how they target market, but suddenly American Girl's back in the dialogue, She's playing with the dolls. She's like, oh, look at all my clothes. So just in time for the, Santa's list I want the Girl of the Year, blah, blah, blah.
And the sleigh with 3 horses.
Yes, that's more than, freshman year.
It's more than a small car.
So I was like, no, I'm not. You can get something, you can get a dress or something if you want, but Santa will not be bringing an American. And I kind of took a stand this year because I feel like I need to correct some,
yes,
do some because the big Christmases times 2 is
it's a lot.
And I even feel like my kids are telling me to call not my daughter, my teenage daughters, just. Forever 21 clothes, just
yeah.
She's not denying to buy her stuff in any shape or form, but the excess, the stuff that I see at the store, and I'm like, oh, I know they'd like that. That one more gift to unwrap under the tree. I got someone for one, so I have to get something for the other.
That's the other thing too.
It's
trying to keep it equal.
Yeah.
Did you, it was sort of, I think it went viral this week, the picture that the mom posted. I don't know where she posted it, but it was a picture of her Christmas tree.
I think I saw the headline.
And the Christmas tree is probably 7 feet tall, and the gifts were, the only thing you could see of the tree was probably the top foot of it.
Yeah,
it was piled up, 6 feet tall with packages. You couldn't even see the tree. And so it just went crazy online, and people, as people tend to be, were completely divided. I think most people were, this is excessive. And
how many kids is she have?
I don't know.
It's relative. She's like Duggar size.
I don't think she's Duggar size, but if you saw this tree, it was probably hundreds of gifts.
Oh.
But it's oh, what a great mom making a magical Christmas were some comments, and then other comments were, this is what's wrong with America, or
I think you have to know the context to have what if she has a huge family? What if her parents, one of them married 3 times, and she has, and they're all not just for her kids, but everyone
every single one. I don't know. I feel like I buy for a lot of people, and nothing ever gets up.
That pass.
Yeah. So back to if you are starting out and
the other
Santa's still. You're still excited about Santa, but you haven't really, your children are young. Make it to their expectations. I listened to this podcast, and the woman doesn't do Santa at all, and a lot of people don't do Santa. I've never heard of that before. I've never heard people that celebrate Christmas and Santa doesn't come at all. But she says her children are fine with it, but I sense I don't know how that could be.
I don't know. I'd have to talk to my cousins and brother. I don't feel like Santa was sold to us so much as it wasn't like when I'm Spanish, so that's what I'm talking about culturally.
Right.
But I'm first generation American, so I had one foot in this system and one foot in that culture. So I feel like I knew Santa, wanted, the Santa. I wanted, I wanted that.
You wanted
that lifestyle. Thus, circling back to what my kids have these ridiculous Christmases. I wanted that. So I don't feel that was so, but I don't know. I don't remember my mom ever saying Santa doesn't exist or anything like that. It was, because it was always more Jesus' birthday. And we celebrated, I think, I feel like Christmas Eve is a bigger holiday. And we would open our presents at midnight.
Okay.
We
would always open one present and that night.
Yeah.
And my children always try to get me to let them open one present. But
so Santa wasn't like, Santa to me was, and when I say this, I don't mean it in any way, shape, or form offensive, but it was what I associate with like white suburban, privilege. I was like, Santa sounds great. I want Santa to come to my neighborhood. And that's, I think why I went apeshit crazy for my kids. As part of my psychology right there. But another PSA, if you're starting out, advent calendars. Get the pre-ones. Get the ones which don't, because I got, this is where Lola gets it from. I got suckered into these 3 advent calendars at Target. So I got one for each kid. One's a tree, one's a train for my son, and one's a gingerbread house.
Right.
And I have to put something in each morning.
And you have to buy a Hershey Kiss and all of them, and then they just get the Hershey Kiss every day.
We could do that, but this is what would happen.
I was like, all right, PSA. I didn't say this is how you candy cake.
I should have done that, but I think
but you have to put a little gift.
Yeah, well,
a little something.
I just basically do chocolate. You're right. Okay. There was one year I was going because they were such odd shaped little boxes that I was trying to find shit to get in those boxes, and I realized I was like, this is a ridiculous amount of stress I'm putting
on a piece of chocolate in an advent.
Yeah. So get the pre-box.
There are definitely ways to lower your stress at Christmas. Yeah. But it's funny. Whitley, who's 11, was in a class, and the teacher was asking them to write down some holiday traditions, and she said, "I realized that our family has a lot of traditions."
Did that make your heart sing?
Yeah, it did. It did. But then, so she was one of just a few people that were called upon to share one of their holiday traditions in class. And so this is funny that this is what would, of all the traditions, I feel like, this is what she chose to share. She said on Christmas Eve, we go to my grandparents' house and we eat crab legs and tater tots because we're not very classy.
No, she didn't.
Those were her exact words.
Of all the traditions.
Everything. That is what she shared with, the whole class.
You have traditions from leading into Thanksgiving. You have, awesome. I want to be at your house for Christmas.
Well, I thought it was funny that she would even consider that a tradition. We do have, it sort of evolved into that. The tater tot thing is funny because we have always had crab legs on Christmas Eve, but my dad started getting more in the mix a few years ago when my mom started getting less capable to do some things. So he sort of started taking over some of her role as a hostess. And so, therefore it was his job to come up with the appropriate side dish to the king crab legs. And so his appropriate side dish was tater tots. And so we just have we laugh about that a lot. And it's fun because we talk about tater tots a lot. And we run in the jingle run or the turkey trot and our name is the tater tots. And, Whitley is, I guess, taking that very, she hears it. So she's like, but yeah, I like those, but we're not very classy. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's kind of awesome.
So what are some of your traditions? Have you had to create new traditions since you've been divorced?
I I don't know if it's new traditions as much as new attitudes about it. Like, it has to be much more fluid, not so caught up on the date.
Right.
And, let me think. No, I mean, I still go crazy on gifts, which I really need to get better about. We open up? No, not really. I mean, I think it's still evolving, our Christmases. Like, I don't know what they're going to fully look like. Because, I mean, it's been 3-4 years, right? I'm so bad at I don't even know how long.
You've been divorced?
Yeah. I think divorce is 2.
Or separate Christmases?
4. I don't know.
But your ex still takes them up to Chicago? So that's still part of their tradition.
If they have the same Christmases, so I can explain because some people do, question this. My in-laws have, I felt like Norman Rockwell. I just love Christmas there. It's in Chicago. It's in Winnetka, Chicago. It's this beautiful home, which I think they put on the market. So I think this is the last of those Christmases. So I think this Christmas is going to be an emotional one for my kids, at least the older 2, based on the conversations that are coming up. I feel so. I don't know. Long and short, I don't know what our Christmases are going to evolve to. I feel like it's still in the process.
Right.
They still have the Christmases that they've grown up with. That's still a part of their life. I think that's going to change as they get older.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I have a lot of traditions, and there are some traditions, but I try not to, put a whole lot into, traditions that can't be changed, because I think you just sort of, sometimes you end up like Clark Griswolding those, and they become something that then they take on more meaning than they really are. But apparently our tradition is tater tots. And,
I think the one that I was just PSAing about the Advent calendar, I know they kind of get it. If I forget, they'll be like, "Mom,
yeah, Mom, where's my?"
Yeah, they getting the decorations up, even getting the tree and doing that's an adventure. I mean, my kids do the chasing, you were talking about at the tree lot.
Yes, chasing each other.
And it's funny because when you were talking about it, I could totally relate to when they were little. It drove me crazy, and now I just I love it.
Yes.
I even kind of joined in this year.
Yes, and then one day they won't want to do that.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Oh, it's come full circle."
So I don't know if I know the Christmases I yearn for, though I don't want to speed up time because it feels like it's going by so quickly, but the ones I yearn for are really when my kids are coming back from college. I think when they're older.
Coming home. Christmas.
Oh
gosh, that's coming up for me very quickly.
Those are the way, because I don't know. I their childhood ones have been, I don't know, interesting. I think they've had great Christmases the way they talk about it, and they know and they say, and this year, I kind of got mad at them because they were planning the Christmas and it sort of took for granted when I would be spending Christmas with them. When they wanted to stay in Chicago for a longer period of time. So I was just taken aback. I was like, we're birthed by someone. I was really, my feelings were hurt. And their response was oh no, we have you all the time. We love you. You're, and we didn't think you'd mind because you're so, they were compliment. It was a compliment.
Right.
We will have our special time. We know you'll,
we want to give this because we have that special time with you all the time. Yeah. Well, it's just sweet.
But
it is, it's a crazy time of year, and so there's just a lot trying to get it all done, and no matter what the time frame is, and I do a lot. I have some hosting obligations, so
You do a really nice brunch for your female friends.
I do a brunch for my female friends, and so.
And every year I sort of think, I'm like, I want to do something. I don't see a lot of people year round that I want to see. So I'm like, this would be
the year.
And I just can't do it. I can't muster up the hosting abilities. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and I mean, like a couple of years ago, I was like, do I want, this is a brunch I've been hosting for a lot of years, and
it's beautiful.
I sort of I'm like, I would cook the exact same dish. I mean, like, it's the exact same brunch with the exact same hostess gift. Yeah, a little bit. I'm like,
we do that thing again. We're not
like, we don't, right.
So she does this brunch every year. Let me tell you the first brunch time that I got invited. I went with Amy.
Yeah.
And we showed up at your neighbor's house because we didn't know where we were going.
Right. I forgot about that.
I backed out and broke his mailbox.
I remember that. Yeah.
That was my first brunch. But you do this lovely brunch, is it a frittata?
Yes, it's actually called a frittata.
Okay,
yeah, an egg frittata.
A beautiful fruit platter. I could.
Well, you can because it's the exact same menu for 15 years. So yeah,
but it's delicious. And then you have, which I think is really the symbolism I think from the party, is you do these glasses. And they get festively decorated, and they have our initial on them. And there is champagne, and sometimes you mix it up. There's orange juice and
pomegranate or cranberry or whatever you want to put your champagne in. But yes.
And then the interesting. So it's. I feel like it's a labor of love on your part to do it. It's an interesting for me. It's just an interesting. I don't know. But I can't do, I wish I could, I'm not jealousy in a negative connotation. Like, I wish I could get my shit together to do something like that for my friends, but I just can't. So hats to you. I would toast you if I had anything in my hand.
Yeah, you're, well, I mean, I was like, people just, bored with this? And I asked a couple friends, I'm just sort of thinking, maybe moving on to something else. And I'm like, no. I mean, they were very supportive, but they're like, what you really have to look at is, do you love doing it?
Is it
and
worth
I'm
it
like,
to you?
And I'm like, I do really love doing it. It does require cleaning your house and having it decorated enough to the point where,
getting the
every
glasses,
girlfriend you have
figuring out
to see and be in your house, and then, cooking a lunch for, 50 people who will arrive at 10:30 in the morning.
I always think the most weird part was the glasses, like the RSVP. The hardest part.
Well, because I make a glass with everybody's initial on it. But I don't know. Many years ago, I started making a glass for everyone, and then I would just leave them out if they RSVP no, and that made things a lot easier, so I wasn't waiting till the last minute. And then last year was actually sort of fun. Whitley and Avery both joined me in making the initials.
Aww.
And my two daughters, and so that was fun. And they, it's a tradition for them. They know, okay, mom's brunch. It's sort of like something that they, know what's going to happen around, and that they have to be out of the house pretty much the whole day, and so it's fun. I'm looking forward to it. It's a Saturday, so
I haven't RSVP'd.
Well, are you coming?
Lola has her first cheerleading competition.
Oh,
her first in Raleigh.
Oh my!
It's the first time I've done any of this travel thing.
Yeah,
I've never done it as a parent.
I can't. I mean, that's so hard to travel like that in December.
Right, the week before Christmas.
The week before Christmas.
It's
so
crazy, but so I've got that going. But I would have preferred. I have my own traditions around your party.
I think everybody does. Whether or not it's shopping afterwards I don't know. I'm not even going to go there.
I remember 2 years specifically. 1 year, I came early. I think I did that like 2 years. I came early and helped you, which was fun.
Yeah.
I didn't really help. I just let you do. I just chatted.
Yeah, kept me company. Yeah, that's good.
And then when the last year I promised to do that, I ended up. That's when I was with the Marine. I should probably give him a nickname other than the Marine.
G.I. Joe. Yeah. Oh, that's right. I had forgotten about that.
And I showed up like completely flustered and late.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
That was, and then since then I felt really guilty about that. So I didn't promise. That's one of those things I cut out of my overcommitting.
Yeah, you can only do so much. Well, I think I think that's what's hard about Christmas for women and just moms in general. There's just so much, there's so much to do, packed into like an already packed life. So,
yep.
So anyway, yeah, make it easy on yourself if you haven't already, like downscale. Like it doesn't have to always be. I try to downscale a little bit more.
I think
here.
enjoy. The other thing, I feel like don't scrapbook it, don't Facebook it, don't worry about the Facebooking or the scrapbooking. What like being so like documenting it, this wonderful, perfect. Then experiencing it.
Then you don't live it in the moment.
Yeah, that you're not present to really.
I don't know if this is true, but I've read somewhere or saw somewhere that if you are like taking a video or like if you're at a concert or you're videoing, that you actually like and you're looking at the screen that you don't really even have a memory of what actually happened if you're videoing it, and that the video actually becomes your memory, which is sort of interesting. So, like, I do try to think, just try to be more in the moment. And then at the end after that's all done, I'm like, why didn't I take more pictures? I only have, like, 10 pictures this Christmas.
Yeah.
So you can't have it both ways. But I do think, like, on Facebook, it is hard because, like, people just, they put the best part, everybody's trees and everybody out. So it's like, oh, my gosh, everybody's got their tree up. Everybody's doing this.
That's my dog. Yeah, Facebook is not an accurate description of people's lives. I mean, I wish people understood that. Like, switching to my trip to India, everyone's like, "Oh, you look, on Facebook, and you look like you had a blast, and it was amazing. You had so much fun." And that is true. Those things are absolutely true. But you don't post the not wonderful. You have dysentery on a train, or
the 500 photos that you took to like post those 3 photos.
Or you don't post the. Oh, sorry.
So, but so we're just trying to like de-stress at Christmas and just sort of enjoy it a little bit more and not worry about as much of the trappings, which is hard to do. So,
I'm sorry I'm going to miss your brunch.
I'm sorry you're going to miss it too. We'll have to do something else. Brunchy, like I think we're getting ready to go to brunch. Yes.
All right, so thank you, and
thanks for having me.
We need to. Oh, we're working on a name. So this is going to be a different podcast than the other one. We should probably tell them and promote it. I always forget.
It's still Marisol and I are trying to figure out a podcasting name and format and all of that.
Who our market is.
Yeah.
Because I think this is
all those things.
Yeah. These are for moms mostly, women.
Mostly.
All right. And so, but right up for now, you can find it on the website can'tmakeup.com.
Shit you can't make up with a U.
With a U. And follow us on Facebook under the same name. And iTunes, I changed the name from Diary of a Midlife Crisis to Shit You Can't Make Up, and I think they just rejected
iTunes doesn't like that. iTunes doesn't like the word shit. So I think you can still find it if you type in Marisol. If you just type in Marisol, it probably will come up.
So And that's it. I think we're going to do another one soon. And thank you for listening.